For this question, I'll be demonstrating how to use model to solve this question first, followed by using branching method. So let's say for this question, first of all, he mentioned that he spent 5 out of 7 on a t-shirt. Okay, so what I'll do is I will draw a bar and then divide into 7 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, and it was mentioned that he spent 5 out of 7 on a t-shirt. So over here, spend on a shirt. Okay, next, he spent 1/4 of the remaining money. This is my remainder. Okay, so I put a R to denote it's a remainder. And right over here, they were saying that he spent 1/4 of the remaining money. So how do I draw a 1/4 here? Over here, there are only 2 units. 1, 2. So how do I draw a 1/4 here? Again, as I mentioned in my previous lesson, I may have to divide these 2 equal parts into 4 equal parts. So right now, I will divide into like this. If I divide into like this, I will have 4 parts. So if I do like this, cutting this into from 2, now we have 4 equal parts in the remainder. Okay, but you have to do this for the shirts as well. So from here, if you do draw, there are total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 equal parts now will become 10 equal parts. So if I were to draw, it will be like this. Okay, so take note that this is for the remainder. From here to here is remainder. From just now, 2 equal parts now become 4 equal parts. Okay, so to answer part A question, okay, he spent 1/4 of the remaining amount of money. So this is a remainder. I'll be spending 1/4 on chocolate. So here I denote as C. And the remainder over here is being spent on book. So here I denote as B. Okay, as mentioned here, rest of money on some books. Okay, part A. What fraction of his money was spent on the books? Give your answer in the simplest form. Okay, over here, how many parts is being spent on the book? So we count it together. 1, 2, 3. So answer here will be 3. And out of total, how many units are there? So at first, there were 7 equal parts. But now, there are total how many equal parts? 14 equal parts. So in total, I will have 3 out of 14 as an answer. Again, check. Is it to the simplest form? Yes, it is. Okay, so that will be my answer for part A. Okay, now move on to part B. For part B, he said that if he spends $6 more on the books than the box of chocolates, how much did he spend on the t-shirt? Okay, so we need to know how many units are spent on the book. 3 units spent on the book. How many spent on chocolate? 1 unit on chocolate. Okay, can you tell me what's the difference? Correct. 2 units is the difference, and 2 units is equal to $6. Why? Because they mentioned that they spent $6 more on the book than the chocolates. Therefore, 2 units is equal to $6. Okay, and let's say 2 units is equal to $6. How much is 1 unit? Yes, we are right, $3. Okay, now go back to our question. How much was spent on the t-shirt? Now ask yourself this question. How many units are spent on the t-shirt? don't look at the original model anymore. Look at the revised model. So just now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you look at the revised model, it's actually 10 parts. So we're looking for 10 units. Okay, and that will give you $30 as an answer. Okay, so now we will talk about branching method. Okay, what do we mean by branching method? So first of all, same thing with the question. He spent 5 out of 7 of his money on a t-shirt. So what I'll do is from here, I'll draw a line and say that he spent 5 out of 7 on a t-shirt. So here I'll write as shirt. Okay, so remember for fraction, okay, when these two plus together, we'll always give you 1. So let's say this is 5 out of 7. What's the number here? Correct, 2 out of 7. And this is what we call the remainder. So here I write as remainder. Okay, from here, with the question again, he spent 1/4 of his remaining amount of money on chocolate and also on book. So from the remainder here, I'll branch out again 1/4 on chocolate and the rest on book. So now my question to you is that same thing. If let's say this is equal to 1/4, what do you think the number here is? Correct, it will give you 3/4. Why? Because when you add these together, will always give you 1. Yes. Okay, so this is what we call branching method. Same thing, there are something a form of picture. Okay, pictorial, what Andrews mentioned, picture. So from here, I can proceed to solve for part A and part B. Let me show you how do I solve for part A. Okay, from here, they mentioned that what fraction of his money was spent on the book. Okay, how much was spent on the book? What fraction of his money? Okay, for branching, we always have to multiply to get to the answer. We are looking for the book. This is where I'm looking for. Do I write the answer at 3/4? No, I don't, because 3/4 is from the remainder. So they are looking for what fraction of his money. So what I have to do is to multiply like this. Okay, I have to find what is a fraction of his money, the total amount of money, not the remainder. Okay, what fraction of his money was spent on the book. So I have to multiply 2 out of 7 times 3/4. So when you multiply this, what would you get? Okay, so first of all, this and this I can cancel, it become 2. So 1 times 3 give you 3, and then 7 times 2 give you 14. And check, is it simplest form? Yes, it is. So that is the answer for part A. It's the same answer that I got for using model method. So again, how do you check the answer? Remember in the class I mentioned about Poyar's method? You understand the question and see this question they mention about remaining amount of money. Therefore, we are using remainder concept. Step 2, you plan. Plan is either using model or you decide to use branching method. Third, you carry out your plan. Okay, means you solve. And lastly, you check. Checking, you can try to use branching or you can use model to check back whether you got the same answer using both methods. Okay, now this is for part A answer. I got 3 out of 14. Move on. How do I solve for part B? So from here, this is equal to 3 out of 14. 3 out of 14. That means out of 14 units of his total amount of money, 3 units is spent on book. Okay, do the same thing for the chocolate. So for chocolate, how much was spent on chocolate? Okay, what fraction of his money was spent on chocolate? So we'll do like this, same thing. 2 out of 7 times 1/4. Okay, 2 out of 7 times 1/4. What do you get? Work it out by yourself. Correct. You'll get 1 out of 14. Okay, for branching, be very careful. This is the amount of money that he has. He spent 3 out of 14 of his total amount of money on book. 1 out of 14 of his total amount of money on chocolate. What was spent on the shirt? Me a guess. Correct. Is 10 out of 14. How do I get 10 out of 14? If you look at these two, they always have a denominator of 14 and 14. For 5 out of 7, how can I get a denominator of 14 using equivalent fraction? Correct, you times 2. So if you times 2, you get 10 out of 14 equivalent fraction. Now check again. When you this plus this plus this, do you get back 14 out of 14? If you do, means your answer and the approach is correct. Your working is correct. They should add up to equal to total 1. Okay, now we move on, part B. Now we compare book and chocolate. What's the difference in the units? Look at it closely. Chocolate 1 unit, book 3 units. So what is the difference? Correct, 2 units is equal to $6. Alright, and 1 unit is equal to $3. Beautiful. Alright, and lastly, how much was spent on t-shirt? Where was my t-shirt? 10 units. And from there, gentlemen, how do I get 10 units? 3 times 10? Awesome. $30. Okay, this is how you use branching to solve the question.